I discovered that my mom and dad are not my biological parents. We were arguing and my mom said something like I should have left you two with that slur for indigenous people. She tried to cover it up after, but the cat was out of the bag and my twin brother asked her what she meant. They stalled a little, but eventually they said that a childhood friend of them had strayed from religion, led an improper life, married an indigenous girl from a village nearby and got her pregnant. Their friend died and my parents thought that the girl wasn't fit for raising a child and basically just threatened her into giving us over. We have always been a bit darker than the rest of our siblings and have different features, but that was not objectively proof of anything because my dad has a non-white mother and they always said that we had just inherited it from that side. My mom always just joked that we came out from the oven a little burned. I know we should have catched on, but it just didn't even cross our minds. I don't know how to feel. My mom says that my biological mother was probably a bad mom anyways because nothing in the world could ever make her give away her children, but my parents admit to threaten her over months with legal action and something else that they refused to tell us, and my parents are pretty important people, so I don't blame our bio mom. They also said that they wanted more children but were told they couldn't have any more, so we were a miracle in God's present for them. They say that our bio mom used to send us presents every year on our birthday until 7, and that they eventually told her they would get a restraining order if she continued, so she stopped. The argument escalated and they kicked us out basically. Told us to find our bio mom if we were so hung up on it. I guess they are still my parents, because they raised me, but I think they did a pretty terrible thing. I don't know if we'll try to find our bio mom. I don't even know if we can find her, and if we could I don't even know what we would say. My twin brother wants to find her but is afraid she won't want to see us or don't recognize us. We don't even know if she's alive. Sorry if this doesn't make sense, I'm just rambling at this point. Comment. That's a terrible way to find out a very big secret. You don't have to make any decisions about what to do next until you are ready. It sounds like your bio mom really wanted to be in your life, and hopefully she still would want the same thing, if you choose it. As for your adoptive parents, maybe it's best to take a break from contacting them for a bit while you sort this out in your own mind. You do realize they basically kidnapped you, don't you? I'm not sure your parents are good people. They know your mother was not a bad mother or they wouldn't phrase their justifications for kidnapping you the way they do. Read up on what has been done to the indigenous in various countries. Not pretty. Even a place that's considered humanistic, healthcare, social services, like Canada has an ugly history with their First Nations. None of it was voluntary as you imply. So much has been done against indigenous peoples due to racism and preconceptions. If I were you, I would try and find your biological mother who never really had a chance to have a relationship with you. You will probably find a bunch of people who are very similar to you in different ways you laugh, things you do, foods you like. Things will click. It would be good to find them, even if your biological mother is no longer alive, but it is very likely she is. They are disgusting people. Manipulating and threatening a woman who had tragically lost her husband to steal her children for their own benefit. No other reason. Please go find your bio mother. She has more than likely been crying for you every day for years. She lost her husband and then her children were stolen. 100% stolen. Your adopted parents are scum of the earth. If you are in the United States, there's going to be a paper trail. I had a friend who was in a similar situation. She was kicked out as a teen after finding out, and was able to find her parents through the Indian Child Welfare Act, ICWA, paperwork to permit the adoption outside of their community. If you know the local community, they might have it in their office. As a newly realized adoptee, you are in a difficult time. Everything is going to be incredibly emotional and you and your brother would best be served if you can connect with a therapist well-versed on adoption trauma. Those you thought were your parents cast you out after keeping part of your identity secret. Grieve the parents you thought you had. Grieve the parents you deserve. Grieve the relationships they stole from you because of their racism. Take the time to deconstruct the racism you learned from your adopted family. The way you A-mom talked about you B-mom, it's definitely there. Start considering it so when you get the chance to meet your B-family you'll have a smoother transition. I hope the best for you and your brother. Contact any reservations your bio mom may be part of. Share your story with them. I'm sure they'll respond once they understand that two of their own was stolen from them by heartless people like your adoptive parents. They threatened that poor woman. I'm sure she's been grieving you guys for years. Indigenous people have been victims of people like your adoptive parents for centuries. Not sure where you are, but this is why in the USA, JFK signed a law to prevent Native children being taken away this way from their parents. Story 2. I learned that my ex was confessed to during our relationship, and that's what caused us to break up. I learned that my ex was confessed to by the girl he told me not to worry about during our relationship, and that is what caused us to break up. When we did break up, he gave me all sorts of BS excuses about having anxiety during our relationship, etc., and not the real reason. I did learn that they got together after a little while after we broke up, and I was not necessarily surprised. I was never a necessarily jealous person, and I always encouraged friends of all genders, but there were some clear signs of possible feelings/attachments that I ignored during the relationship. I wish he had just come clean when we broke up so I wasn't left so confused. Anyways, I have someone new now and I am happier with them. However, now knowing these facts, I still have anxiety that my ex kept me around until he confirmed he could have something better and then left me. That I am just someone to be strung along until you find someone better, like an insurance policy. I wonder if he would have stayed with me, letting me try and fix a loveless relationship on my own, and hoping for someone better. I feel like I was a placeholder so that he wasn't alone until he could confirm he could do better. It scares me that it could happen again and I could waste more years of my youth to someone who doesn't truly love me, just because of their convenience and fear of being alone. Although this isn't rational to project onto my current partner, the fear is definitely there. Anyways, I just needed to get that off my chest because I don't really have anyone else to talk to about this. I don't want to bring it up to my new partner or old friends/family and the impression that I am still not over my ex. I'm over him, just hurt by the actions, and feeling a little more insecure and disposable because of it. Comment. The exact same thing happened to me 20 years ago. Looking back, I can now recognize all the signs that I wasn't her one, just her good enough for now. I regret not considering therapy back then, as it would not have taken me as long to learn to trust again, but I eventually did and now have a loving family. As for my ex, don't know, don't care. I could have wrote this a few years ago. Same exact thing. My heart goes out to you, OP. Do not look for closure because you will not get it. Make your own closure and do your own thing in spite of him. Time will be your best healer. Look on the bright side. If your ex-boyfriend had not messed you around, then the cosmic timings would have been off and you would not have found your current boyfriend. You would have both been in different places at different stages of your lives. Don't be afraid to talk openly with your partner. You need to confide in them so a bond can form. As you said, you are much happier with your new boyfriend. Story 3. I don't know if I should leave my husband. My husband and I have been together since we were teenagers. We got married 7 years ago. We have 2 daughters together, well-paying jobs and a beautiful home. My husband loves me very much. He's always been a selfless, understanding, supportive partner. It's obvious to everyone who knows him that he has a gentle, old soul. And I couldn't ask for a better father to my girls. He is truly just an incredible person, and that's part of the reason I feel so guilty about my discontentment. Something feels missing, and if I'm being honest, I've felt that for a long time. I've achieved a level of security and comfort that a lot of people probably long for, and I do appreciate it. But connection is missing. We're just different. I feel so one-dimensional around him. I feel like the deeper parts of who I am are underserved and underappreciated. It's not his fault. It has absolutely nothing to do with who he is. Just different wavelengths. Different minds. When it comes down to it, different values. I don't know what to do, honestly. Sometimes it's so easy to just exist in the comfort. And I am scared to lose something good. I am scared to hurt someone I do genuinely love. But I'm also terrified of missing out on something more and shorting myself in my life. Not to mention the girls. This is so hard. I'm at a complete loss. Comment. Have you tried to have deeper conversations to him? Do you think maybe it's your mind painting a picture that is not true? The grass is greener where you watered it. Don't throw away a marriage over something you are not even sure of. Maybe you don't feel content with yourself and think it's the relationship when it's you. Try all your options in helping yourself before you make a decision. The 7-year itch is a real thing. My husband and I are insanely happy, but our 7th year was a rough one for a variety of reasons. We worked through our issues and doubts and grew stronger. You have 2 kids and it's easy to lose sight of yourself when you are a mom. Talk to him. Take time for you away from kids and work and everything at least once a month to figure out what you are missing. You have a bad case of grass is greener complex. The risk to your well-being is real. but the risk to the well-being of your husband and girls is way bigger. The odds in pure maths of you finding contentment elsewhere is minute, and though it seems you're missing something, you will find that what you are missing is your own commitment to being the change you want in your life. Talk to the guy, but be brutally honest as you can. Trust him. Go to counseling and find ways for you and your husband to open up to one another. Love and being in love is complicated and sometimes doesn't make sense. We can be madly in love with someone who is incredibly toxic. And likewise, we might miss that spark with someone who is otherwise a great fit. You have to put in work to maintain a relationship. That spark dies if not nurtured. I've been married 20 to 25 years and know my wife so well at this point. The mystery is gone in a sense. But we make it a point to keep things alive between us. We've had low periods, of course. We try to be exciting for one another, be romantic, etc. We are very different in many regards but work well together. We have a passion between us, but it didn't come free. It takes work. We make sure to not take one another for granted. We work hard to maintain our spark. We keep in shape for each other. We maintain the little things we did while dating. Have you tried talking to a professional? Have you tried opening up to your hubs about these feelings? You've been together a long time and you could be feeling like you've missed out on some things. Maybe he feels that way too. After a while, your relationship can feel stale, especially when you are not working so hard or aiming for common goals. As you grow older, you will both change. It's important to share these changes with each other and learn about each other. A counselor could help you express your feelings without sounding accusatory.